Yeah, dude. So check this thing out, man. It's so old. So old. I got Soriano on there, Zambrano, Ted
I love
Lilly.
it.
Ridiculous.
I love it.
Go
Ted
Cubs, go.
Lilly. Ted Lilly had some of the best pitch games I've ever seen at Wrigley.
Theodore Roosevelt Lilly. For those of you at home.
You know the like the greatest pitching matchup I've ever seen at Wrigley Field. My personal of a game I attended. Sergio Mitre
Oh, was that the
versus Roy Halladay.
Was that the
Cubs won 2-1.
That was not what I was thinking of, and now I remember
No.
who Sergio Mitre was.
Yeah. It was really surprising.
Did he spent most of his time as a reliever?
Maybe a starter for the Cubs, right?
Yeah. I'm very interested now. I remember him as a reliever.
He didn't have very long.
He was only a starter for 1 year
Oh my gosh.
with Florida. It wasn't even with the Cubs. He spent his first 3 years with the Cubs. His first year in 2003, an 8.31 ERA. 2004, a 6.62 ERA. In 2005, a 5.37 ERA.
How many starts did he make for the Cubs?
18 in 3 years.
Yeah. So like out of those 18.
Yeah, you got to see a spot start masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
It's amazing. That's like Amanda and I went earlier this year, and we saw Cole Stewart make a spot start. I believe it was against the Padres.
Right.
And I just wanted to go see Tatis. You know, he's in town. Fuck it, let's go. You know, you don't get to see superstars every day. You know, outside of the ones on your own team, if you're lucky enough to have any. And it was just fucking wild, man.
I went to many a Cubs games to see the superstars on the other team.
Yeah. And but anyway, Cole Stewart was starting, and I think somebody else got scratched, and they flew him over. You know, got him over there from Iowa or wherever he was at. So he was in the minor leagues. We got him from the Twins, and he pitched real well. You know, I think he only went 5 or 6 innings, but you know, you get to the ballpark and you hear that news. I forget who was supposed to start because somebody was named a starter and they ended up getting scratched, and that's the last thing you want to do is get to the ballpark if you're that into it where you know who's playing. You know, you go to the ballpark and you actually know what you're about to see, and you get there and then the starter gets scratched and you go, shit. Here we go. It's going to be a bad day at the ballpark. And it ended up being a great day. And Tatis homered, and you didn't have to be mad about it because the Cubs still got the W. So
that's a good day.
It's fantastic. I think Wisdom hit 2 home runs that game. And maybe 3. Did he have a 3 home run game? I don't think so.
He had a 3 home run game.
I might have been there.
I'm pretty sure he had a 3 home run game.
I'm pretty sure I was there. If it happened.
Really early, right when he first came up.
This says 9/19/21. I was definitely not there. Oh, that says 3-run homer. 3-run home run. Multi-home run. Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
Just 2. But I think 2 guys hit 2 home runs or something like that. It was crazy.
He had a lot of home runs when he first came up. He was pretty hot for a while there.
Yeah. Finally getting his opportunity, you know? But anyway, man, what the hell is going on right now in baseball?
Okay, speaking, all right, we got a lot, but with Wisdom, I got to make a note because we're going to talk about that later because this is a spot I wanted to hit because we were talking about the CBA and like the idea of they want to pay the minor leaguers more. And it's guys like Patrick Wisdom that you're going to see less of if that actually comes to fruition, there won't be those career minor leaguers that like are 30 and never made it because they're just going to be pumping young guys back in through there. They won't give those guys that long.
I don't know. I think there won't be as many of them. I think there'll still be some.
There'll be some, but they're going to be guys that are hitting 280 and 18 home runs in AAA. But they're not going to be guys that are, having still developing. They're not going to give you that long to develop. It's going to be a lot of young guys. You're already seeing it where they're starting to pump the young guys back in.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of youth.
They have to. Okay. Crazy. All of the action we're seeing this early. I mean, we're talking about Craig Kimbrell and that type of guy that you didn't see getting the contracts really early. The teams were really pushing these guys to the limit on how long they were making these guys wait to sign contracts. And I think especially with the CBA that you have a lot of teams just really trying to get things done before, because you got to figure, okay, you write new contracts for all these minor leaguers. That's a lot of money for all of these teams to be. So, I mean, that's going to stretch. It's really going to stretch teams' payrolls when it hits there. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of guys really pick up contract, even the players. I mean, look at these guys signing so fast. It's pretty interesting.
That's a good point. I'm never going to believe ownership, though. So, they can just say that they're having to spend more money and they're losing money and bullshit like that. But, if they're still turning a profit, why can't you treat the people that give you a reason to exist a little bit better? So I don't see what the big deal is. Unless they legitimately were to be losing money, which I don't see happening, because I'm pretty sure, isn't it, most minor league affiliated baseball clubs lose money on their own anyway? Like they only survive because the big league clubs, they're paying for that development. Yeah. So what's a few more thousand per player or whatever it is, I don't know how much more they're gonna have to pony up, but I can't imagine it's gonna break the camel's back, man. What's the big deal?
It's pretty interesting. I think obviously the ownership's gonna push it as much as they can.
Of course.
That's why we're gonna see the CBA thing kind of push into the 100th hour.
What's your prediction? Right up before spring training, or how much time do you think? I don't think the owners are in any position to prolong this, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how long they'll bluff for, because I think it's a bluff. I'm not an economist or anything like that, but I don't think they can afford another 2020 if they have other outstanding debts. Like the Cubs, they're paying mortgages on all those hotels around the stadium and all that property they bought up for the Marquee Network, and that's what is that? It's an unnecessary expense to me, to a guy who just wants to watch a team play baseball. I don't care about your media empire you're trying to build, but then what they do there does it affect baseball operations or not? Maybe I'm just uneducated. But when you look at it, it looks like, you're doing unnecessary crap that takes away from the on-field product that you could be putting out.
I think that on the business side of things, the ownership have a card that they can play with the 2020 season
Right.
because obviously they all took a huge hit in 2020. So I mean, they're going to be able to play that card and be like, "Hey, look, there's going to be times like this where we're going to have to eat it just so you guys can be on the field and you make your money." And I don't. It's obviously they all make lots of money. So for us, the most important thing for me is have it done by spring training, right?
Right.
And get the product on the field so I can enjoy it.
Right.
But I think I understand the players and what they're really pushing for in the new contracts.
But like to your point, I think the players know that it's gonna be a little bit too, because look what all these free agents did. Like you said earlier, man, we haven't had this many of the top free agents sign this early in the offseason. It's not even Christmas, dude. It's not even next year yet. These folks haven't even enjoyed the holidays. Carlos Correa was just playing in the World Series. You know what I mean? He's still not even probably unwound yet. And he hasn't signed, but Corey Seager has, and he was right there too, so.
I was absolutely surprised by the amount of the top tier free agents that we're seeing come off the free agency already. Usually you'd see those top tier ones kind of last longer on the boards. Some of the lower end guys, mid tier, we'd see them getting signed and stuff. But to see Scherzer and Baez and Seager, and you saw, it's pretty surprising that you saw Marcus Semien come off real quick. You saw Robbie Ray, Kevin Gossman. I mean, the extent of the top tier pitching that was available, because even if they're not number ones, these were the best available starting pitchers.
Yeah, and I mean
on the market.
Robbie Ray's the reigning Cy Young. Right.
Cy Young.
He's a fantastic strikeout pitcher.
It's pretty amazing that, and I will say that I'm seeing it. The Scherzer contract really got me because I'm
wild.
The extent I'm seeing smaller contracts than I expected to be seeing.
Do you mean in terms of length or money?
Average yearly value.
Okay.
Other than Seager and Scherzer, the amount of talent that's being picked up right now compared to what guys were being paid, it's pretty surprising for me. I thought some of these guys would make a little bit more money, but I guess and like you're saying, it's coming off quick. So there's got to be something in the CBA talks that they got to be pretty far apart in terms of what the players are expecting and what the ownership's presenting them with.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's crazy. It really is crazy. You look at, according to CBS Sports here, I'm looking at right now, 7 of the top 10 free agents are signed. And that's not even including Javi Baez. He's not top 10.
Right.
So the only 3 big names left unsigned, are Carlos Correa, Kris Bryant, and Freddie Freeman.
Right. And all 3 of those have been apparently in serious discussions with teams where they're on the cusp of being signed. So
I would think so.
It's been a pretty I'm really surprised that we're having this conversation before Christmas. It's pretty wild.
What were we saying? 4 days ago? What were we saying? There's no action going on. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Monday morning comes around.
We're talking about winter meetings.
Yeah. And I said nothing was going to happen until the lockout, and I was so wrong. So wrong. 4 days later. Is that what it's been? What did we do that Saturday night?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 days later, here we are, and they've just set the internet on fire over what's going on right now.
I just feel like there's got to be something that the ownership's really making these players nervous about. If they're so ready to sign, there's got to be some. I don't know. I think like when people start pushing numbers and they haven't done the math, it could be something that simple, like the players union is coming in and saying, "Hey, look, we need to up," because when you really get down and dirty and you look at the number of players that Major League Baseball is paying, that these organizations are paying in the minor leagues, all their foreign camps and everything they run, there's a lot of contracts out there. So when you talk about upping the minimum pay rate, you're really going to be bumping up the number that these teams are spending. And they have a really easy show of revenue. They can say, look, this is exactly how much money we are bringing in. It's really easy for them to show it. When they do that and they say, okay, this much money is going to be affected immediately as soon as we up these numbers, I'm sure there's something that they're pushing real easy to make these guys nervous.
So, what if the players turn around and say, hey, what about that whole restructuring thing you guys just did and eliminated a bunch of teams? How much money did you save?
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, I think we deserve a little bit of that. If you guys were making it go before, if you were making it work before, why can't we get a little bit more if we're still bringing you the same money? I don't know,
It's going to be interesting to see what they come up with in the CBA.
I don't know. I just feel like I would be, if I was an owner of anything, I would always be most interested in development because I feel like that's how you would improve over time.
It's ownership's always they're always easy to make out as the evil guy, right? Like as a fan,
Absolutely,
as a player, anything,
100%.
it's easy to say,
Yes.
okay, these guys, they're the bad ones, and it's easy for the fans to be like, yeah, man, they are, they're the bad ones, and it just it's hard to say exactly. Obviously, teams want to make money. Teams want to win because when they win, they make more money. It kills me when there are teams that do not spend money, and the fans get all over them for it. But there are teams that do that successfully and continue to win, and even they don't make the crazy revenue as the big markets. The markets play so much into what kind of real money that the teams bring in that even if you're a winning team in a small market, you're never going to have the kind of spending cash that the New York Yankees have, that the Boston Red Sox have, that the Dodgers have, that the Cubs have. So it's always easy to look at the ownership and say, well, those guys are the terrible ones. I get it, but at the same time, I don't feel like the tensions are real high. Like I feel like they're distant from each other in the numbers, but I don't feel like anybody's been,
Sure,
really beating anybody up too bad in terms of interviews and stuff like that. So at least that's positive.
it might just be business is business, but you never know. It's their business, We just
Right.
hope that they can get it settled. That's all we can do as fans. Is just hope they get it settled before it's time to play again.
Right.
Because they can't conduct any activity after midnight tonight Eastern time. They can't. So, sure, you could put a handshake deal in place, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So we'll see.
Okay. So
let's actually talk about some of these signings.
Let's do it, man. I'm right there.
Oh baby. Let's start with arguably the biggest signing to me, and that's got to be. I think it's the most polarizing because I think I'm on the opposite side of this argument. Max Scherzer, 3 years, $130 million to go right alongside DeGrom. What do you think, dude?
Sure. Okay. For me, Scherzer is the most reliable number one pitcher in baseball. In terms of he is going to go out there and throw 175 plus innings for you, be right in the top of the league in strikeouts, be right in the top of the league in wins, be right in the top of the league in ERA. And I haven't seen him slowing down, especially like for pitchers, right? Pitchers more so than hitters, position players, when you get to that age. If you can still, it's easy to see velocity droppage, right? More so than when you're watching a game and you see a guy swinging a bat. It's hard to tell if he's swinging faster or slower than he used to. With velocity pitching, you can see it. It's like right there in front of your face. Every pitch, we see the speed nowadays. He hasn't had this major drop off. And I think obviously, like everybody, all of his games are under a microscope that everybody watches because he's Max Scherzer.
He's must-see TV, absolutely. If you're a baseball fan and if you're a fan of pitching, anytime an elite pitcher like that's on the bump, you want to watch it. Period.
And you get playoff experience, good playoff experience.
Yeah.
I like Scherzer. I've liked Scherzer forever.
He's 36 years old. And outside of his rookie year in 2019, where he finished third in the Cy Young anyway, he's made 30 starts or more every year. Even last year when they're talking about the dead arm shit, he's making the starts. He's giving you the innings. And not only is he giving you the innings, which barely anybody does anymore on a consistent basis, and he's done it since 2009. That's the year I graduated high school, Mike. I'm 31 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In his Arizona days, 30 starts. Yeah, his ERA was 4.12, but that's still good enough to be a starting pitcher. And then as he gets his experience and his legs underneath him, holy cow, just the stat lines are incredible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of sub 3 ERA with all the starts to back it up. So that's innings, man. A reliever pitches what, maybe 60, 70 innings a year? So for them to have low ERAs is good, but it takes them 3 to 4 years to do what a good starting pitcher does in 1 year in terms of how many outs they get for the team they play for. So it's, it's real impressive to see a guy throw that many innings and keep the numbers down that low, especially in today's baseball. But the thing is, everybody's freaking out about his contract. We all know the type of pitcher he is, but I feel like some people don't fully understand, and that's why I wanted to touch on it. But 3 years, $130 million is a lot of money. It's like, I think it's like $1.6 million per start, basically, if he makes 32 starts. It's insane. I don't know if that math's 100% accurate. I mean, I guess I'll run it through here. But I can't use my keyboard, so 130, that's 96 starts in 3 years. $1.35 million every start. That's absurd, man. That's absurd. Now that, you look at it that way, and that's really a stupid way to look at it, because that doesn't account for all the practice and all the days off. It's just a game. every time he only gets to say he only gets paid when he plays the game seems silly. But if that might be how it works. Like, hey, if you don't play the game, you don't get paid. I don't know.
It's pretty insane how deep the Mets are jumping in too.
And they say, everybody jumps on it and says, "Oh, he's old." He's done nothing to show any sign of regression. Absolutely none. And could he? Absolutely. But has he? No. And you can't not pay the man for something he hasn't not done yet. You can't say, hey, you're only worth this because we think over the course of this winter you're just going to completely disappear as a starting pitcher. It's absurd. So I think I think it's a great deal for both sides, because if it doesn't work out, it's only 3 years. And really, until the second bad year, you're not going to bitch about the contract anyway because of the track record he's got. He's Max Scherzer. So if he comes out and has an ERA of like in the high 3s or low 4s this year, nobody's really going to... I don't think too many people are going to complain, or they're going to try and fucking run him out of town and scrutinize every single pitch he throws because he's getting $1.35 million per start. There's a lot of things that can happen.
You know, the big thing for Scherzer is if he starts 30 games, he's going to have probably at highest mid 3s. If he starts 30 games,
yeah,
if
in
you
a
give him
bad
30
year,
starts, you're feeling really good about it if he has 30 starts. It's pretty. I like it. I think people are going to be surprised when he opts out after 2 years.
He's such a and signs one more big deal.
Yeah.
He's such a competitor. The dude's literally a psycho on the mound. And I'm sorry, I love everything about that. Just absolutely, yeah, bud. That's it. You're at war right now. Get the other team out. I don't care where you have to go in your head to do it. Like, that's just a competitor in me, dude. I fucking love it. That's the type of shit that a person just watching the TV might be like, oh, there's something wrong with him, or what's his deal? Like, no, you don't get it. Like, that's the place you want to be. And then to succeed, to accomplish the mission, oh, man. Whew. Not a lot of people get to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Normal people only get to do it for very short periods of time, like when they're growing up through regular athletics. And usually, you're taught to be humble and all of that. And I'm not saying that he's not. It's just that's the elite versus the elite going toe to fucking toe to see who's the baddest motherfucker out there. And if you're a competitor, that's all you ever want to do. That's all I ever wanted to do. Obviously, I learned I wasn't the baddest motherfucker, Everybody learns that lesson. But some people don't take it that way because they never approached it that way. So, I love it. I love the fire. And I don't think it's ever too much because you're just trying to get after it. I love it. But he's 37? 37.
Yeah.
A 3-year deal puts him at 40. What did Adam Wainwright do last year? Everybody wants to say Scherzer's going to disappear. Adam Wainwright had to have a fantastic year last year for the Cardinals. He's got to be 40. Adam Wainwright's old.
He just turned 40 in August.
Okay, and what did he do this year? Do you know?
17-7, 305.
How many starts did he make?
He made 32 starts.
So he was healthy all year.
Led the league, led the majors in complete games.
Led the major leagues in complete games at 40. Hey, Pav. Who lets people on the internet make comments?
They don't understand.
When you're an elite talent, you're not automatically doomed to this thing where you fall off the face of the fucking earth. When you're elite talent stays elite for a lot longer than the average big leaguer, which is still an elite talent in the general scheme of things, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 1% of the 1%. Like, Max Scherzer's that level. And Adam Wainwright is probably that level, and I hate to say that being a Cubs fan, but geez, how long has he been just an absolute animal?
Yeah.
And he's coming back next year, I believe. Yeah, Wainwright's got a 3.35 career ERA. It's crazy. It's not as good as Scherzer, but it's still really good.
Scherzer's going to push. He's going to pitch into his 40s pretty well, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. People are saying he's already washed. Like people are complaining about the contract because they think it's too much. I don't get it. I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, so Scherzer has been in the league since 08. Okay. Wainwright, who we talked about, has been in the league since 05. Scherzer has more innings pitched.
Oh, there you go, dude. Your audio fucked up for a minute.
So, okay. Scherzer has more innings pitched than Wainwright.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for 3 less years.
And Wainwright, my point is Wainwright's still killing it at 40.
Still killing it. Scherzer is a workhorse that's an elite pitcher.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand about Scherzer.
The durability, right.
It's hard to find those guys. They are impossible to find all.
Let alone find the ones that can also pitch better than anyone else.
Right.
On top of it.
To be an elite pitcher.
Not just
that's
a guy
workhorse.
that can get you through a game.
Wow.
Every 5 days, but a guy that's going to go out and win you a game every 5 days. It's not just a guy that's going to get you to the next day, like because he can throw you a ton of innings. No, he's going to throw you a ton of innings, win you the game, and then try and come back 3 days later on short rest to close out the other game. You know, that's just the type of guy he is. So I pay that fucking guy all the money he wants, dude.
I'm telling you, that would have been my number one if I was running the White Sox.
Anybody.
That would have been my number one target. One target. You got the window right now. That's who you want. You want to win right now? That's the guy.
And even if you can't afford like him and Rodon, fuck Rodon. Go get him. You know what I mean? Pay him the money because you know what he's about. Rodon could be a one-hit wonder. Who knows?
Rodon is pretty. It's pretty. How do you expect to get that from Rodon and Lance Lynn? And it's like, with Scherzer, okay, this is the guy. So
right,
yeah, I would make that move.
Yeah, I don't know if Lance Lynn continues what he's done either. No offense to Lance Lynn, but I don't know. It seems like the White Sox have been fortunate with some of that starting pitching they've had. Unexpected to me, so maybe they know more than I do, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
I think some of it was just luck, and it needed to be, but it doesn't make sense with how potent their offense is. They have 14 closers in their bullpen.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. Better take care of that. Oh, shit. I'm going to have to check on mine. We can't, I don't think, there shouldn't be any kids that watch this ever, but I'm not even going to explain anything right now.
Okay.
I can't be the guy who murders Christmas from a fucking sports podcast. You know what I mean? How unbelievable would that be?
So, all right.
Anything else you want to say about Scherzer?
I like the deal.
Yeah,
I like the deal.
Okay. I fucking love it. Both sides, I love it.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you get out of it in 3 years. Best case scenario, you win a fucking championship or something. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but him and DeGrom in the playoffs, you're getting them 2 times a series. You got to face DeGrom and Scherzer 4 games out of a 7-game series. No way. You're done. I'm sorry, you're done. All the Mets have to do is get to the playoffs with them 2 healthy, and it's big fucking trouble. It's big trouble. Like, a lot of trouble. What happens, what's going on with Kershaw? Does anybody know? What if they just, snagged up Kershaw? I could see him not being the world's most expensive pitcher. And that gives him a lefty to throw off the balance between those two big righties.
I saw. Okay, so
And I hate Kershaw, and I'm saying that for the
yeah,
record.
I see a lot of like predictions for the average annual value of people's contracts. And right now they got Kershaw at like 18 million a year. It's pretty surprising, but I guess that's
surprisingly
where,
low.
yeah, for me. But I
Uh-oh.
guess that's where the regression of his statistics has went. You know,
I think that's about right. And I don't look at statistics. I haven't even looked at a statistic, and I figured about 20 million would get you a Kershaw.
it seems like somebody would make that move, don't you think? I mean, here's a guy that was the best pitcher in baseball regular season for 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 almost a decade. You know, it's pretty. He's not 35 yet, so that's the crazy thing.
Right.
There's
He
this
just
guy.
has
He's
back
I
issues.
don't know, right.
He's had them for a while, too, so I don't know. Is he reliable when you need him? But I'm telling you, man, the Mets just need one more pitcher for the playoffs. One more. Who else do they have right now? Because they Thor's gone, and so's Matz and Stroman. They're all gone. So what do they have available? All you need is DeGrom and Scherzer, though. You get one more guy, that's just a cherry on top.
Yeah. Okay. They're like it's been pretty insane. Like they're the Yankees this year, right? They're buying a team right now.
Trying to.
With that in mind, so who's wearing it better right now, them or the Rangers?
Oh, they're right.
Who's buying the better team right now? It's pretty insane that
right.
you have these. Going into the off season, was there any inkling at all that
Nope.
the Rangers and the Mets were going to be the two teams that were going to come out and spend more money than everybody else?
I don't think anybody. I don't know enough Rangers fans to know if the Rangers people expected them to do that, but I sure as hell didn't. I'm
I
just
can't
used to the
believe
Rangers
it.
getting decent prospects, developing, bringing them along, and then trading them before they ever produce at the big league level. That's what the Rangers do. They trade them for more. They're a feeder team. I mean, it's all they ever seem to want to do lately. It's just be a feeder team. Some teams have to do it because of small market and this and that. And I don't know how small the market the Texas Rangers are. It's still baseball in the South where there ain't bad weather. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they don't compete ever. When's the last time the Rangers made the playoffs?
Oh man, 14 maybe. It's been a while.
16.
16.
Yeah. Blue Jays. They lost to the Blue Jays in 15 and 16.
Yeah, yeah. They weren't very good those couple years.
They
They
went
had
to
a
the World
decent team.
Series in 2011.
Yeah,
Just
the earlier team was a little bit better with Washington still
you hear that?
nothing.
Do you hear that
The
or no?
but
No, your
the
audio.
buzzing.
It like glitches out, yeah.
I don't hear it, but like
I'm gonna hold it up to the mic next time.
yeah, because I know I can only hear your feed, but like it's been pretty insane. But really,
What do you
okay,
think about
so
Corey Seager though? Because that's a ton. Like I didn't think we were gonna see another $300 million contract because everybody that's signed one hasn't really. I don't know. I don't know if they've made their money. Like Rendon disappeared on the Angels. Rendon's like a top 10 highest paid player in baseball.
Yeah.
He got Mike Trout money to go over there, and oh my God, that's gonna fucking cripple them. It's another Albert Pujols contract if he doesn't perform. Like, yeah, he was good, but come on, he's got to do, injuries or whatever. You got to play. Getting that much money, they have Otani. They're supposed to have Rendon.
The Seager thing is pretty surprising, especially like with his. Like he hasn't had 600 plate appearances since 2017.
Yeah, he had
That's
Tommy John
pretty wild.
and hip surgery in the same year. I don't know. He won Rookie of the Year, correct? In 16.
Yeah.
He
put up numbers. Yeah, he put up numbers. He hits.
Yeah,
if
in
the guy
Dodger
stays
Stadium.
on the field, he hits. So
in Dodger Stadium. It's not the best park to hit in.
Right, and he has a top tier OPS. He really does. Career OPS 870. You're talking that's top level.
That's just so much money for so long.
So much money. He's not 23.
Like
it's really wild, man.
No, he's older than that.
That's what I say.
You're saying
my audio sucks. He's not.
I understand. Right.
If he was 23, then I can understand it. Right. Then you're right through all the prime years. He's 27, so you're gonna get the back half of that's really gonna be rough. Even if he stays healthy, considering his position, that back half's gonna be rough. I mean.
He can move to second base if his bat stays. He could be like
he can
Daniel
move to
Murphy or Robinson Cano.
And then you're paying the second baseman $32 million a year.
If you're hitting 300, dude.
Whew.
If you're still hitting 300, then it's worth it. If you're not, that's when you got to figure it out.
330 home runs, which he's never hit 30 home runs. At
but
second
he might
base,
in Texas.
He might. He better. He better for that money.
Everything's bigger in Texas, man.
It doesn't matter to him if he hits 30 home runs, right? That's the Rangers' problem now. That's not his problem anymore.
Yeah.
But
and then Semien getting $175 million. He's had 2 back-to-back good years, I believe. But I still don't see him as like a perennial star.
I think a lot of that has to do with where he plays too.
Yeah. And I mean, he's going to continue to play in a small market.
He does work, man. He won a Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, but it's only been recently. So when you only do it recently in the past few years, that's your prime. Now he's getting a 7-year deal. Heading into age 32.
Oof.
That's a lot of money. That could go. I see that going south before Seager goes south. In terms of that deal.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't do what he's done the past few years, that gets ugly quick. How much is that? 1.7. Where's my calculator?
Yeah, that's rough. It is. It's really rough.
It's $25 million a year.
You got
that's a Hayward contract in the making.
You got 3 years where you're gonna get decent if he stays healthy. Just based on the way people regress through aging, he's got 3 years, and you gave him 7.
Hey, you know what's really bad though?
It's pretty rough.
Jason Hayward was only 27 when we signed him.
Young. Super, yeah. Yeah, dude.
That makes me less angry at the contract, though. It really, I'm not mad. The dude sucks, but okay.
They took a chance.
Sure.
They got who was widely viewed as the top free agent of the year that season. So and the thing for them was they won the World Series the next year. So at least like that's the saving grace. Like you went out and you got this guy to help you win the World Series, and you won the World Series. So even if he wasn't as much of a help as you would have liked him to have been, you
Right.
won the World Series. So
Yeah,
you at least
absolutely.
you accomplished your actual goal when you were signing that contract. Obviously, we would have liked to have had a few more years, but everybody regressed. The what you saw from the Cubs, it really had nothing to do with who Jason Hayward was and what he did, because he was the same guy. He was always the same guy for the Cubs. He's been the same guy that from 2016 all through. He's been that same guy. Everybody else, every year something different from each of those guys. So you had off years for Bryant. You had one good year for Baez that everybody was like, oh my God, that was the fluke year. That was the bad thing. So and Rizzo. So when those guys aren't performing where you needed them to, I mean, that was kind of the thing. That's what I'm really surprised with the Baez contract, and it looks like he got less than he was offered from the Cubs. So I guess he didn't play those cards exactly perfect.
Right.
But
He was too
I'm
caught up in
surprised he
those
got that
big
much.
money contracts out west with
Yeah,
Machado and Tatis. And then Lindor got paid, and he thought all of a sudden he was just going to get all this money. How many? God, there's so many breaks I did where I'm just like, it's not happening. He's not even a top 5 shortstop. And at the time he wasn't, and I think he's dropped even further down those rankings now. So I'm glad he's got confidence in himself, but
yeah.
the numbers don't lie. He's the most guess pitch hitter I've ever seen, ever. He's as bad as like the guys that swing at the types of balls that Javi Baez swing at least are able to hit it sometimes. Like Manny Ramirez, Randall Simon, if you remember him, like
Yeah,
Vladimir Guerrero Sr. Those types of guys were good at hitting bad balls. Baez just swings because he's got a guess. It seems like he doesn't ever. I'm not saying that identifying a breaking ball is easy by any stretch of
right.
the imagination, but amongst his peers, they do it a hell of a lot better than he does. And
Yeah, he has such a violent swing.
he has like a compulsion to swing because he how many walks does he take? His on base might bear it's like 303 for his career. It's terrible.
But
Terrible.
he was setting some sort of record, right, for the amount of walks he was taking.
Not taking.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he was. I think he led the league last year in swing and misses. Like his swing and miss rate was the highest among all players, I
it,
think.
it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, the
So,
Baez, he's got an opt out in there or something. I don't even know. I still think he's overpaid. I don't think he's worth whatever that works out to be.
yeah,
So,
so from 2018, the 2018 was the season that everybody falls back on and says, "Oh yeah, Baez." His strikeout rate went from 25.9% to 27.8 to 31.9 to 33.6 this year. So you're striking out a third of the time of your at bats. That's pretty rough.
yeah, you're not helping your team.
It's pretty rough. And it'd be one thing if you're getting a hit in 33% of the time you're up the bat, then it'd be acceptable. But when you're hitting 260 and you're striking out 33% of the time,
Right.
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So
That's
I'm
just for folks at home. That's literally like 50 games roughly where he loses out on a hit in that equation that Pav just explained. So you might think like, oh, those numbers aren't a big deal from 333 to 260. It's a huge deal over the course of a season. That's probably roughly about 50 hits, 50 to 60 hits. So for him to not take any walks, he needs to produce 50 to 60 more hits to make him that superstar that he thinks he is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because if you're not getting those extra hits and being up there in talks at a batting title and things like that, then you've got to learn to lay off a bad pitch. You got to learn to take your walk, whether you want to or not. You don't need to hit a home run every time because you're not doing it how you're doing it now. So just take another pitch, bud. Thanks for everything in Chicago, Baez. I wasn't as big of a fan as you, as a lot of people are, but that's because you ooze charisma. You ooze the charisma. Javi Baez is the king of fucking charisma. He's got all of that shit. But charisma doesn't play the game.
It's pretty I'm surprised by the contract they gave him. It's gonna be
it's the charisma, dude. His charisma got paid.
It got paid.
It got paid, dude.
By the Tigers. It's such a weird. I don't know.
Hey, how many fewer home runs is he gonna hit in fucking Detroit? Nick Castellanos tore that field apart when he had his ugly exit from the Tigers on his way to Chicago. Where do you think he ends up? He hasn't signed yet, right?
That's a really good question on how many home runs.
He's going to hit fewer.
I'm going to go place a bet on that later. Go find that over. It's going to be
under 30 now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think maybe just breaks 20. That team's so rough. I can't. Like, I went and looked, and like people are like, "Oh, Spencer Torkelson." It's like
you don't know until you see him.
You have no idea.
By all accounts, he's a very polished hitter. But
yeah,
the big leagues are the big leagues, man.
Right.
Nothing matters except for what you do at the big leagues. Nothing. Yeah. None of that shit matters. So, like, I also think the Mets paid too much for Starling Marte. But he's got wheels and he can get on base. I don't know how long the wheels stay on. Base. He's 33.
As long as he could get the juice under the without getting caught, he's good to go.
Steroids Marte, baby.
As long as he's got it. As long as he's got it, he's
another surprising move, man. Mark Melancon. Okay, Mark Melancon is 36. $14 million for 2 years.
Yeah.
Guess who signed him?
The Diamondbacks. Yeah.
Just dying to have anybody with talent on that team after the year they had. We'll give you whatever you want. Just please come help us. Like, that's a fucking help sign. Like, help. If you have anything left in the tank, bring your tank down here. It's warm. Your bones won't ache as bad. Just come on down.
That guy had some really good seasons with the Pirates and stuff.
And the Giants, yeah.
And then just, like...
He had a bad stretch, and I think he got his shit together. Like, I think he did real well with the Padres.
He had a couple bad years with San Francisco.
He had a bad stretch and before he got out of San Francisco.
Which I don't want to pitch in San Francisco either. Man, it's just who's was it Sergio Romo? That was he was
see here's something
with the
right
Giants.
Here. The Brewers signed Pedro Severino, 28-year-old catcher from the Orioles, to a 1-year, $1.9 million deal. Why couldn't the Cubs sign him? What do we need Yan Gomes for? No offense to Yan Gomes. But unless they plan on getting rid of Willson, I don't understand.
I would suspect that they plan on playing Willson more in the outfield.
That's okay. So that's one way to look at it. Then that move makes actually a lot of sense to me then. That's the first thing I've heard that's actually intelligent. That makes a
the
ton
only
of
thing
fucking
I could
sense.
think. If you can get, because man, Willson Contreras
I think the
has
Cubs need to sign Contreras. I think they need to,
he has an elite bat.
and not only that, he can catch, and to get a bat that good that can also catch as well as he does catch. He's not the world's most accomplished defensive catcher, but he's absolutely above average. He's a
Yeah,
guy you'd throw out there behind a plate any day of the week and not think twice about it. So he's earned the right to make those mistakes and things like that whenever he does. It's not like he's unseasoned or doesn't know how to do the job. He's an accomplished catcher with an elite bat.
I am guessing that they're going to use him a bit less behind the plate.
That would make sense, especially if you want to sign him for a deal of any significant length before he hits free agency. Like, hey man, we're committed to you as much as you want to be committed to us, because he said if I got to be the last guy on the ship, I'll go down with it. He's here for it if they want to rebuild around him. So I'm all for it.
He hasn't had a season with 600 plate appearances. He hasn't had a season with 500 plate appearances since 2018.
Yeah.
So you'd really like to see him play at least 140 games. Like, you'd really like to see at least 140 games from him.
But you can't
if
ask
that
him to
means
do
playing
that.
a little bit more in the outfield.
Right. Because, you can't ask him to do that in today's baseball as a catcher.
No. Yeah,
but I agree. His bat's good enough that you need to find a way to get him in more games.
Especially that team that they have now. I mean, you could. Is Patrick Wisdom going to be? You have question marks. You have a lot of question marks on that team.
Schwindel.
Who is Frank Schwindel? I mean, who is this guy, right?
I doubt you get it. I hate to be the hater, but I'm just keeping it real.
You have to build the team with the expectation that those guys won't have years like they had, right?
And if they do, fantastic.
If they do fantastic, then you'll probably win a bunch of games. So, I mean, especially if like Stroman. What I do?
You really want to know what drives me nuts though? Syndergaard got a 1-year deal for $21 million, dude.
Yeah.
He's only 29 and he's got a power arm. You know how bad I want the Cubs to have a power arm. The Angels picked him up. He's sure maybe I don't even consider him a project. He's just coming off injury. For only $21 million in 1 year, that's the best contract the entire free agency for any organization. For all the bad contracts the Angels have been giving out, that's the best one they're getting. And it sucks for them that it's only going to be 1 year, because watch him come out and just tear it up this year. Just tear it up.
If he does, then good for him.
He's a hard thrower with a good breaking ball. I love it.
It's tough.
His name's fucking Thor, dude. I don't even like comic books. I mean, I ain't even into that shit. He's fucking Thor. He's got the hair, all that shit.
I know. He's had 30 starts twice, though. It's tough.
He goes hard, man.
If you get... The thing is like... Okay, so...
Verlander got 25 million?
If the Cubs were signing him. It's tough, because really... Like... I would prefer that the Cubs don't sign someone like that for 1 year, with hopes that, because they're not ready to win. The Cubs aren't ready to win this year, right? So
I'm not willing to admit that, but I understand what you're saying.
Right. So like when you go back to with like the Wade Miley thing, the thing with Wade Miley is he had 28 starts last year. He's had 30 starts a lot of seasons. So, like, that's a little bit different contract for me than, like, the Noah Syndergaard. Because Noah Syndergaard is young. He has been injured. And you really don't know what you're going to get. So, I mean, that's a...
Yeah, but Wade Miley's only $10 million, right?
Yeah.
It's worth it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't think it actually helps the rotation. And I think he's 34 or 35, and he's just
I understand it, especially with the Stroman sign. Now you got Stroman, so
But
like
Stroman's not a
it
big
takes.
guy. He's not a soft tosser, but he's just not a big guy.
I get it. I get it. You still don't have a definitive number one on this team,
I need Ricky
right?
Vaughn on the squad, dude. I
Ricky,
just
Ricky,
I need somebody to mix it up for him. They like maybe Braylon Marquez can make the team out of camp. That'd be huge. Lefty that throws hard, just for the change of pace. You might ruin his career if he
I
doesn't
actually,
succeed.
I
but
like Keegan Thompson too.
I love
I don't know.
Keegan Thompson.
I think they have some guys that like will be a little bit under the radar for like
And
maybe you find the lightning in the bottle in somebody, but I do like that. So all of a sudden you have Stroman, Hendricks, and Wade Miley as like three solid guys to throw 30 games for you. Those are three guys that are pretty solid about throwing 30 games. So if you can find those two other guys, you're gonna need a number five. If you find a number one, some lightning somewhere, then holy crap.
I mean, you're just hoping Hendricks returns to form and gets the ball down in his zone.
Yeah, but I've never looked at Hendricks as the number one guy. Because it's just too hard to be a guy like that. Like you're like exactly what you're saying, soft tossing.
I think he earned it, but I agree with you.
When you get in trouble, the best way to get out of trouble is to strike people out.
Right.
And if you can't be that strikeout guy when you're in trouble, then you're going to get in deeper shit. So right. Like, and that's been his Achilles heel is that
I know
when he gets in trouble, he gives up a big home run.
I made it on ESPN.
That's the game.
I made it on ESPN where he gave up 4 runs before I ever even got my first beer. Before we were all settled in. The beer man hadn't even come over yet. Sunday night baseball, and the Braves are teeing off on Hendricks, and it was a long night. It's a long night. But luckily I kept the beer man close, and we made it through the day. But it was a good time. But when he's off, man, it's not pretty.
It's not pretty.
But when he's on, it's fucking 70 pitch complete games. It's Greg Maddux shit. That's what's crazy about him. He's fantastic in that regard, but he's just missing something.
I like the Stroman deal though. I feel like I'm surprised that they were able to get him for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then I see the 2-year opt out. So like I mean he could be really excellent the next 2 years and then it's over, baby.
Right.
He's getting in their contract somewhere. So, but I mean, I really feel like I told you before that was the guy when I saw all the free agents on the list, especially like looking at the starting pitching. That was the guy I thought the Cubs should track. So I'm really excited that it actually happened. That's the guy they tracked and they went after because the quality of the starting pitching, like the thing with like Kevin Gausman and you saw Anthony DeSclafani, he signed a contract too. I forget what he got, but like those guys, like we've seen them when they weren't this good. So like were those guys pitching to their contract year? Who was it? Matt God, who was that pitcher that signed the first huge contract and then totally sucked? Was it for the Rockies?
Or are you talking
Hampton?
About yeah, Hampton.
Oh my God. But if you get if like Gausman or something turns into that, right, where all of a sudden this guy had this huge year and you sign him for this contract, he could suck. He could get lit up, man. That's the thing is like with the really steady arms, you had Scherzer, which Scherzer's older, so like his contract. That's why his contract makes sense. He's an older guy, but you knew that's a number one. So like, there wasn't many guys that I felt like, okay, that's a number one top tier elite pitcher on that board. And I feel that way about Stroman. He's not the number one guy.
Sure.
But he is a really good number two that pitches 30 games a year.
Yeah, he's a frontline starter that'll eat some innings. Absolutely.
I'm excited about that one. But we'll see. We'll see where all these other teams end up going.
Yeah, Chris Taylor. The Dodgers signed a utility man, Chris Taylor. $60 million for 4 years.
Those numbers just came out.
It was right before we started. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the numbers yet. I saw that they were real close with him.
So I mean, he's getting $15 million a year to maybe not even be an everyday starter. Must be nice to be the Dodgers.
They just spend money. I can't
a 4-year deal.
Keep spending money.
Here, have it. Everybody gets some.
So are they going to re-sign Kershaw?
I don't know.
They don't have any pitching left, do they?
Well, they got Walker Buehler, Dustin May.
They got Walker Buehler. I'll give you Walker Buehler.
Walker Buehler's the best fucking pitcher in baseball probably right now.
I'll give you Walker Buehler. But, I mean, you just lost
Dustin May's good, and they got Julio Urias. I mean, they're still fucking loaded, man. Dustin May's no joke, and Urias is the best left-handed Mexican-born pitcher since the next best left-handed Mexican-born pitcher. That's a terrible comparison I was starting to make. Was it Valenzuela?
Dustin May, was he hurt? He had an injury?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's just tough. We're getting into that thing.
Yeah, Valenzuela was Mexican. All right, that's who I was thinking of.
Fernando?
Yeah. Yeah, he pitched for the Dodgers, now you got Urias, and Urias is a fucking stud, too. I mean, they got
Fernando Valenzuela, he won the Rookie of the Year in the Cy Young. Same year.
Hell yeah. What else is happening, man? Because it's about to get cold again. We were bitching, nothing was happening, everything happened, and now it's all gonna stop. We know that for a fact.
Yeah. So I was Trevor Story. Where is he gonna end up? That's a guy that I really feel like that's gonna be a deal for a team.
Sweet home Chicago.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I wish. And
that's why. Dude, Story.
Everybody's Correa.
If executives, hey, let me tell you this: if executives value Story less than Baez, and we don't sign Baez or we don't sign Story, I'll cry. Like if he ends up getting less money than Baez, there's no reason not to sign him. He's young too. I'm pretty sure he's like 26 or 27. He's not old.
He is 29, just turned 29.
Oh, shit. I was wrong, but still. He's still good.
But he's a stud. He's 29, but he's a stud.
He made $17.5 million last year.
Right, and he is a great hitter.
He's got power.
He
was in the home run derby. Yeah, he's a good ball player, dude. He's durable too. He's played 140 games in every year outside of 2020 in his rookie year.
Yeah, he is definitely the guy that if I was running the Cubs, I'd be trying to get him to play shortstop for me.
And here's something else too. His fielding percentage is better than Javier Baez.
I'm sure.
Nobody wants a Cubs fan. They think Javier Baez is some amazing, God-given, greatest defensive shortstop of all time. Does he make a highlight play every now and then? Absolutely. Does he make all the routine plays? No.
Yeah, it's sad.
He didn't even qualify among league leaders for anything in the shortstop category. I mean, and he had like a .959 fielding percentage last year. So I mean, I'm totally fine with Baez going down the road. He wasn't earning his keep, and he just got paid more money to not earn his keep somewhere else. So you could bring in a guy like Trevor Story for the same type of money. 2-time Silver Slugger, 2-time All-Star. It's only 29. Come on, bub. You want 20,
Yeah.
25 million? Come play some middle
Yeah.
infield for us, bud. We need the help.
And that'd be the guy. That'd be the guy I'd chase.
Oh, I would.
It's interesting.
It makes a ton of sense.
So, like, given these contracts that you see,
if you think you have Frank at first and Wisdom at third, you add Story. Then you got Happ in the outfield, who you don't quite know what you're going to get. You know, you picked up Clint Frazier, and that you made a trade for another guy. I can't think of his name. A Latin player. I don't want to say Gomez or Hernandez and, be wrong. So
right.
Oh, man. They traded somebody for cash considerations.
Right.
And he was from Cleveland, I believe.
You're going to see Brennan Davis this year, too.
I don't know if you are.
I think you are.
I don't know.
He's 22.
What about Castellanos? Where's he going to end up? There's still some good... Like, some of the free agents that aren't even in the top 10 are better than what we're going to have next year. He's 29. He got $14 million last year. How did the Cubs not sign him? What was his contract with the Reds? He only got $14 million last year. He hit like 50-something doubles that season between the Tigers and the Cubs.
Oh, he had opt-out.
Yeah, he opted out. But, I mean, even after he had that monster year, he didn't get a huge contract.
He got 5 years and, let's see, 30...
Be like 80 million?
62, 82. 5 years, 82 with an opt-out.
It's a terrible contract. After that was why did the Cubs not pay that?
Okay, so, and then...
Jesus. He wanted to stay in Chicago. He loved it. Said he had so much fun playing.
He's going to get some money, dude.
Yeah, man. We're not going to be able to afford it, but yeah.
Oh, gosh. How many years? He might get 7 years.
He had 58. He had 58 doubles that year between Detroit and Chicago. 58 doubles and 27 home runs.
He really might get 7 years.
He could.
Even being 30.
I don't know, dude. We're not going to know until the lockout ends. So we're not going to know about the service time shit. I think that's... I don't know. The whole service time thing.
So does he get more than Bryant now?
No. No, I think Kris Bryant's getting paid. I think Kris Bryant's going to get stupid money.
You think he's going to get stupid money?
Yep.
Even with the down years and stuff?
Yep. Because his willingness and his ability to play anywhere on the field and hit anywhere in the lineup. The flexibility he gives a ball club is just fucking unparalleled. I'm sorry. If I'm Scott Boras and I'm not selling that key reason as to why Kris Bryant isn't worth $30 million or better, I'm not doing my job. I don't think a regular person understands how big a tool that is to a ball club to have a guy that can literally factually put in any outfield position and first or third without even hesitating. He can literally play 5 of the 8 positions on a big league diamond without hesitation. And without bitching about it. And he doesn't care if he's hitting first, second, third, or ninth in the order. He doesn't care. So, I mean, the flexibility that gives you. Say you pencil in Kris Bryant as your third baseman, your everyday third baseman. Say you want to give your first baseman a day off, and you got a good backup for third. So, okay, you move Kris over to first, and now you can give your first baseman a day off and your backup at third. Well, and your lineup doesn't change that much. It doesn't really matter who's in the order for you because you got the guys you want in. So now, say your first baseman gets hurt. We already know you have a good backup at third base. So you slide Kris Bryant over to first for the duration of the injury. You have the backup play third. He's real good. He can handle. He can play better than the average backup. And now you need to give your left fielder a day off, and your next best option is a first baseman. Well, now you move Kris Bryant out to left field, and you put this guy at first base, and now you're able to put the best bats into your lineup at all times because you have a guy that's so good and so flexible and wants to win more than anything else. I'm sorry, that's worth an exorbitant amount of money. It's crazy. It's so valuable to me. He's gonna get paid. If he gets a penny less than $30 million, I'll be shocked per year. I know that's lofty, but I'm telling you, I think his ability to do that
because of the Corey Seager thing.
Sure.
I think that really opened the door for it.
But he didn't do bad this past year either.
I feel like if he gets $30 million, it's going to be a shorter contract. So maybe 5 years.
Yeah, but still, $30 million.
I think if he pushes to like 6 or 7, it's going to be closer to 25. I don't know if how important 6 or like that length is to him. That's like Cassiano, same kind of thing.
And as I'm looking at this thing right here, and it's showing his WAR, like I don't understand how you even use that statistic for a guy that doesn't play the same position every day. What are you comparing him to? So that's silly. For the analytical folks out there, shout out to the analytics department. You and your made up stats.
Hey, they made a movie out of that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie too. Pretty good movie, man. What else? What else is there to go over? Anything important?
I like the. There's some crazy stuff. Did you see the James Paxton deal?
I did not. James Paxton was once a good pitcher. He threw a perfect game.
Yeah. So
with the Mariners. I have an autograph, a rookie autograph, I believe.
His last 2 years have just been
terrible, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, 1 year, $10 million.
To where?
Boston.
Oh, well, they just lost Eduardo Rodriguez though, so they just swapped lefties, hoping he'll be good enough.
Oh my God, they are really hoping. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously they get to see things that we don't get to see, but it's gonna take a big resurgence from him to be anywhere close to what.
Yeah,
he was.
I don't know his spin rate or his average velo, first time through the order numbers, any of that shit. I don't know I don't know the directions they're trending in. So it is what it is.
No, but I'll tell you that's the thing. Like when I see stuff like that, that's what. It's amazing how some of these contracts work out. That something that you could sign a Wade Miley for the same price as a James Paxton is pretty impressive. I don't know.
James Paxton has a bigger fastball than Wade Miley. That's why he gets $10 million.
I get it. But you're talking about 30 games versus 0.
I get that too. I get it.
That's pretty wild. But yeah, obviously, like they felt like they had.
Like, do you want to go with
the gamble?
Yeah, exactly. That's it, man. You want to get a little creative, or you just want to go for the old missionary? You know what I mean? You want to be a Nedberg? What do you want to do? He said that on a podcast, so he's got to watch it.
Well, it's so like it's going to be a bummer that we're going to have to wait to see some more action, especially with all this crazy good stuff we've had. And like you can actually see the shifting of talent from these teams. It's interesting to see. Like, I mean, look at the Dodgers and what they've just lost in this offseason that they're not getting back. You know, they Seager's gone. They had Scherzer at the end of the year, right? Gone.
Yeah.
Kershaw's gone.
Maybe.
But Kershaw also isn't Kershaw anymore. So it's going to be pretty interesting this will be a year where maybe we'll get to see
but here's the other thing. They still got Mookie Betts. They still have Cody Bellinger. They still have
Mookie Betts.
They still have Walker Buehler and Julio Urias. They still have Kenley Jansen. They still have Brusdar Graterol throws 6 million miles an hour. I mean, they're still low. They still have Will Smith. He's one of the best hitting catchers in the league too.
Walker Buehler, that guy's gonna get paid big money.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's going to be nice to see like some of the talent shift. We'll get to see a good shift of talent.
Yeah, we'll see if anything balances out.
Maybe a little bit. Obviously, you're still going to have
see if there's
some
any
really terrible teams out there.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any big swings in power.
Tigers.
Hey, if they can beat the White Sox a couple extra times a year, I'm good with it. I don't need them to win. I just need that division sucks so much. There's no talent in that division.
Sucks so much. It really does.
That division is literally the White Sox division. Even they can buy. That's a buyable division. Yep. They could do York Yankee that division and win it every year just on money alone. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but they have no competition in that division right now. None. The Royals, not happening. Cleveland, they can't even hang a fucking sign on their stadium right now. I don't think they're in any shape to compete in a baseball sense. Who else is in that division? Detroit, they're trying. They're trying. And who else? Who am I missing there? In the AL Central? Minnesota. Oh yeah. Well, they thought they were going to be good.
They signed Byron Buxton.
And then they let Astudillo go. They let Barrios go. And Tyson's boy fucking Jeffers is doing God knows what. So that division is just, oh my goodness. I don't understand.
The Twins just signed maybe this is the biggest free agent signing. And we haven't even touched on it. Are you
going to talk to me about Buxton, who just learned how to hit last year?
Nope. Dylan Bundy.
Big time Bundy? $5 million? Is that when he got 1 year, $5 million? I think.
Oh my god. That's got to put like. How do you feel as a fan of that team when that's the players that you're signing?
Splash.
Oh man.
How as a reporter do you release that information to the people just to get roasted on your own post? Those are the types of press releases you just let the team handle.
Hey guys, we just signed one of the worst pitchers in baseball. We're gonna be better next year. Terrible. I don't know. They're hoping for something. Terrible.
One thing we didn't talk about yet. Marlins are pushing too, but not necessarily in free agency. They traded a prospect of theirs, Cameron Misner, a 23-year-old outfield prospect, for Joey Wendell from the Tampa Bay Rays, who's an all-star. All-star potential. So that's a big move for Miami.
Miami's funny because they're one of those teams that
and they traded for Jacob Stallings too. and he won a Gold Glove. He won the Gold Glove last year. So I'm
They're
not
they're
saying he's
gonna
a polished hitter, but the Marlins are trying. Jeter's trying. They're trying to do something over there.
yeah
I mean, they
yeah
signed Avisail Garcia too. That's a good contact hitter. 4 years, $56 million.
they'll
Or
play
I'm sorry,
that
4 years, $53 million. And they signed their ace Alcantara to an extension. Sandy, he's been a solid pitcher. 4 years, $56 million. I mean, they're trying to lock in some pieces. Those are some building blocks. Those are maybe like the role players. You know, Sandy's their ace now, but at his salary, he can afford to be a 3 or a 4 if something better shows up for you. It's only 12, 13 million a year, something like that. It's good. It's a good contract.
yeah, they don't have any power hitting.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree. But
They got Jesus Aguilar.
it seems like they've had a rotating set of corner infielders to come and go, like these one-hit wonders that show up, like Justin Bohr, come up and hit for a year, and then you never hear from him again.
Somebody will be on steroids.
But they
They'll
have.
get some,
I don't
home
know.
run.
I don't know when JJ Bleday or anyone like that from their farm system expects to come up, but they have some. They've had a few years of high draft picks, so if any of those types of players develop, they might be making noise. The NL East might be the toughest division with some of the power shifting out of the West there, some of that talent leaving the West. I thought the NL East was going to be the toughest division last year, and either that was the case, then everybody just cannibalized each other, or they really just all underperformed because it was, from a record standpoint, none of them were amazing. But look, Atlanta got it done.
Right.
Atlanta got it done, so maybe they were the best division in baseball. I don't know, and they got it done without Acuna.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing the fall off of the Nationals.
Yes, well, I mean, they basically blew that whole team up already.
Done. Yeah.
Done.
So it's you got an absolute stud to build
Soto's
around.
stuck there too. He's stuck right now.
Oh my gosh, is he gonna?
He says he wants to win.
He could be the Trout, except that he won a World Series real early. So he could spend the next 10 years not winning a World Series and being an MVP.
Yeah, who
I don't
knows,
know.
man.
It's rough. That's not the guy you want to be. I mean, like, you want to be that good, but not on a terrible team.
I don't think anybody wants to be on a bad team.
No.
Unless you really are truly selfish and you only care about yourself. Which I'm sure there's actually probably a lot of that. Because baseball is one of the few sports where you can be that way to an extent. Because no one else takes your at bat for you, you know. No one else makes your throw for you. But I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be good to see some action when they actually finish up the CBA. It's going to be interesting to see what the CBA does and how the contracts. It's really weird. It's going to be like having two separate off seasons in the same off season, where you have contracts that were made before the CBA and contracts that made after. So you're going to have players bargaining from a different point. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how it comes down.
Yeah,
but I think
it depends on those changes, right?
Yeah, I really do think that if they do push for more money in the minor leagues, you're going to see some pushback from the ownership on the major leagues then. And you're going to see guys, I don't think you'll see as many of those career minor leaguers that we see that kind of hang out and come up when they're 30.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right about that. But you really never know. It's going to be interesting. I think, to your point, I think the owners might try and bluff for a while. I think they might hold out for a while. I think they might, given. See, here's you. We're going to get into a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred. I hate the guy. I think he's the worst thing for baseball. The report came out yesterday that they were using two different baseballs last year.
Yeah.
And who regulated that? Not nobody. So it wasn't even an even playing field for the players, unless they already knew about this. In which case, I find that hard to believe because with social media, you think one player would have let that cat out of the bag before now. So
Yeah, there's no way they knew.
So I don't think they knew. So you're literally fucking people over because you're using two unequal baseballs. So you could literally impact someone's payday if, say, you played in a shitty team in a shitty market where nobody wants to watch you, and Manfred's a dick beater and says, send all the bad baseballs over there because nobody gives a shit and nobody's going to watch that game.
You'd like to, if you knew where the baseballs went, you'd like to see the difference in ERAs between the hot baseballs and the dead baseballs. Like all of a sudden, all these guys are getting good contracts because they were playing on freaking small market teams where dead baseballs got sent, so their ERAs are stellar because they're throwing dead baseballs up there. I don't. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Like
I don't. It's a terrible look. I hate that guy. He's so bad for the game. He's so bad that I literally forget the point I wanted to make before it because there's so many things I dislike about the guy. But I think the lockout, man, it's gonna suck, man. It's gonna suck. But when it's over, we could have a very exciting time period, depending on how long it takes. Because if it takes a long time, they're gonna have to figure out their rosters and shit in a much quicker time period. They're gonna have to figure things out and get things rolling in order to get everybody ready to go for opening day. I just want them to get it figured out.
Yeah. Get back to making moves. Get back on the field. Get back to playing baseball. We want warm weather. We want baseball. That's what we want.
Well, it's about to get cold and boring.
Yep.
But in basketball, man, we had the Suns knocked off Golden State last night. That was a huge matchup. A couple of the two best teams in the league. I didn't even stay up and watch it, the damn West Coast, but it's warm and sunny out there, and they were playing, the best NBA basketball available last night. Suns won too, by the way. Steph Curry didn't look very good though, so that never.
Yeah,
helps.
he really beat up the Bulls when they played him. Klay Thompson's still not playing, right? He's still out.
He was assigned to the G League, I think, to begin basically rehab assignment. Get his legs back under him. Get his timing. Get his rhythm.
That's a really dangerous team, especially with knowing that guy's just waiting to come back and play. So it'll be interesting to see. The NBA's been pretty good this year. I've enjoyed it a little bit more than I like some of the rule changes they got going on there. So,
but it's easier to enjoy when the Bulls are doing good too. So.
Easier to enjoy when the Bulls. They just had a big win.
Yep.
It was nice to see Vooch back and knocking down some shots.
Yeah, big time shots.
So I if you could get him going, that's really going to make a big difference for that team.
Sure, and they will. I'm not worried about it. You don't have to. Nice and that's the other thing about basketball. You don't even have to worry about it. Bulls are in the playoffs, and that's the unfortunate thing about basketball. Early on, I mean, there's a big talent gap between the top teams and the bottom teams. And when you're in the middle and you're not really sure, that's when you think about the playoffs. But the Bulls are definitely a top third team And in the NBA, they let everybody in the playoffs anyway, essentially. So, especially if they're still going to do the play-in games, which just make the play. Why have the regular season if you're going to let 60+% of the teams into the playoffs? I've never understood the expansion of the playoffs. Unless we're talking college football, in which 4 teams is silly. It needs to be at minimum 8, and it should be more than that, if you ask me. But then you take money away from tons of schools when you take games off their schedules, because if you make the playoffs bigger, people would want a shorter regular season. And then the pro prospects don't want to play that many games. So I see where the balance all has to make sense.
Yeah, they really screw the small schools in terms of like the college football playoffs. I think it'd be a lot better if you did include a few more teams and had an actual playoff for the championship.
It could really shock. You could, of course, you're going to let in a team that probably doesn't deserve to be there, but they had a really good record. But you never know what a team like that's capable of. It's fun to watch,
Yeah,
even if it doesn't pan out, even if it doesn't go the way people want it to go. The build up to those types of games always generates a buzz. If you have the Cinderella team that could only play the teams that were on their schedule and they had no say and they stomped all those teams out, and it's like, hey, these are the teams we had to play. We're sorry we beat all of them by 50 points every game, and we didn't get the opportunity to play anybody better until now, and then they get in the playoffs and lose by 50. Yeah.
right.
But the talk beforehand is always cool, and you never know if they do win the game. Then hell yeah, that's why you do the playoffs. But it's got to be more, because otherwise it's just a big dick power conference tournament, and it's 4 teams. It's so silly. It leaves nothing to the imagination, I think, is my big deal with it, because it's this, it's 4 power teams. You see them every year, and right now, I mean, Bama's the biggest dynasty to ever happen in sports. It seems like it's with Saban across any sport. It's year in and year out. He's just a factory of W's, and it's not even, unless you're an Alabama fan, it's not even fun.
Right.
So it's got to be bigger just to put more pressure on everybody. It makes the championship more special too, because that's a win or go home tournament. You got to survive more than just 2 games. It's not just play a game and play for a championship. No, maybe you got to play 3 or 4 games now to win it all. And
It's like college basketball. How much college basketball do you watch before March?
None anymore, really.
Right. And like when you think about Kentucky and Duke and those type of programs where you have so many one and done players and you have the top talent in that, but because of the makeup of the NCAA championships for the March Madness, it gives so many small schools a chance, and you get to see a lot of players that you would never ever see, and a lot of those guys end up becoming NBA stars. And so it's pretty interesting to, when you think about college football, it really is a really small group of teams that you see every year over and over and over. So it's like us watching Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame's lucky that they get the prestige that they get, because in reality they haven't won a big game in so long that it's tough to watch them when they make the playoffs and stuff, because generally speaking they go and they get beat up by one of those big schools. It's just tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, trust me, I'm aware.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say anything either, because I feel if you play here's my thing with Notre Dame, and of course a lot of people will not agree with me. They don't play any Division II schools. That's got to count for something. I think all that does, best case scenario, is negate the fact that they don't play a conference championship game either. Because it is tougher to win 13 games than it is to win 12. Nobody's debating that. But a lot of those SEC teams play 2 or 3 Division II schools every year. And you can't say not to, because Alabama and those other big SEC schools pay those tiny schools to get their ass kicked. So, it helps. While it doesn't necessarily, and I'm just picking on Alabama, it doesn't necessarily educate the kids that go to Alabama, because they might not necessarily be there for the education. But to the Division II small football school, all those kids go to college knowing they better get their education. They're at a Division II school. Your pro prospects are not slim, even if you're the best. So Bama brings those teams in, gives them an ass whooping, sends them $500,000, whatever. It's a lot of money. I remember seeing numbers on it before. They get paid a lot of money to come to travel to the stadium and get the living shit kicked out of them. But it pays for scholarships. You know what I mean? For the school. It keeps other athletic programs that school has alive. It does a lot for those schools. So while I hate the fact that the competition isn't fair, I'm sorry, you should never play anyone out of your league when you're as prestigious and as a perennial contender as a top tier SEC team. They should never play a Division II school. That's literally like a slaughter. It's not acceptable. But what they do in terms of actually helping out, using their position to help out, sure, I'm okay with that. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely seems like when you watch Notre Dame football, like every week is a big game for them. It's like, okay, this is a big one.
It's just historical. Like we have more opponents because we've played more opponents. So more games mean more. So not necessarily every game's a rivalry, but it's like, yeah, we have teams that we play in the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 all the time. We don't really fuck around with the Big 12 but we got Big 10 teams, we got the ACC teams too. And now we've sprinkled in the SEC lately. They played Georgia a few years and things like that. So it's not like they intentionally pad their schedule with cupcakes. But they're not where they should be, and I think that's firmly on the academic standards. I think the last time I looked, Notre Dame had a graduation rate of like 97%. I mean, if you go to Notre Dame, you're going to get a degree. That's not the case with other teams that are that prestigious, other institutions. So it's like a crutch for them, because you have to be smarter to get into that university. You can't just be a jock. You got to be a jock with a couple brain cells. And that, doesn't always apply to some of the elite freak athletes out there. They got blessed with freakish athleticism and maybe not the best set of brains. So until the standards drop academically over there, I don't know how they can compete in this new era of college football with the name, image, likeness things, where these fucking kids straight out of high school can go to college and make $1 million to play football because companies are signing them to endorsement deals because they're the face of these monster college programs. The SEC is going to be the only conference in football worth the fuck in the next 5 to 10 years. Because that's where all the kids are going to get recruited to go, because all these companies are going to be wanting to pay these athletes. Hey, we want to sponsor you in the SEC conference. Come on down here, pick a school, and we got a deal for you. You know what I mean? They're going to have the most money. They're going to have everything. Brian Kelly just got $95 million to leave Notre Dame to go to the
big
SEC.
Money.
$95 million to coach at a public collegiate university. It has nothing to do with academics.
How'd you feel about that departure?
He's doing nothing scholastically for the university. He's getting $95 million from the university, where you have to pay money if you want to get an education to go there, which is probably paying part of his salary.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. I don't. There's a lot of things I don't like about that. There's some things I understand. First thing is the media scum. Okay,
Media sucks.
they said that deal came together really quick. I don't know how long they were talking about it before it happened, but for the media to not allow him the opportunity to fly back from Louisiana to Notre Dame to at least address his team, if nothing else, that's low. I don't know. I don't know how long the media. I don't know how long that was a done deal before the media got their hands on it either. Who blew the whistle?
Yeah.
And then he texts the team, says, "Hey, 7." He texts the team like less than 8 hours before he was supposed to meet with them. Like, "Hey, I'll address you guys in the morning." And then I guess it was real quick, like 15 minutes in and out. They escorted him in and escorted him out. And now he's gone, man. He's already been introduced at LSU. But the report I heard was that I saw something that said Marcus Freeman was already hired, but I don't think it's happened.
I've heard that the players like Freeman, and but I also heard that Notre Dame likes Luke Fickell.
Yeah, but I think if they don't hire Freeman, they're going to lose all the recruits they've had commit for the next 3 years, because they might lose some with Kelly, and if they lose Marcus Freeman, who's been recruiting the defensive guys, it's gonna be bad news.
Interesting.
But there's the internet has contradicting reports. WNDU, which is South Bend's NBC station, I believe, reports Marcus Freeman will be the next head coach. Tommy Reese. Nobody knows what's going on with Tommy Reese because I think Kelly wants him down there. He's an offensive coordinator. And Kelly wants him down there in LSU. He was a quarterback for Notre Dame as well back in the day. So nobody knows. Yeah. But Kelly wasn't making a lot of money in Notre Dame. I want to say it was like $2.5 million, somewhere in there. He wasn't paid at the same level as what he did for.
No, he got paid. He got paid.
LSU's giving him at least 4 times more than what he's making now. I'm sorry. Anybody, if LSU in fact said, "Hey, this is what we're offering you. We need a decision today." If they really wanted to play hardball, I don't care who you are. I don't think there's anybody that would say no to that. If you're doing the same exact job, building character in the youth, trying to develop boys into men, and win at the same time, it's a little bit more than football at the college stage. You're also trying to develop these men. I mean, you really are. Character. You're trying to build character with these men. Whether you go about it with the tough love way or the I love you way, I'm not saying one way's right or wrong. I experienced a lot of the tough love shit, so I get it. You got to be tough. And it does help, because when times get tough, life isn't always easy. So when times get tough, I think it's good that you had somebody in your life that cared about you enough to make you struggle but observe you at the same time and not let you drown. And I think that's something that's totally lost on society today, because they see it as abuse or however they see it. You know, and I'm not saying people can't take that too far either. You could absolutely abuse people, but if you're a coach and you're trying to groom young men and you throw them into deep water and you let them struggle, but you don't let them drown, you're gonna be better for it. Because when you're on your own down the road in 10 years, like I am now, and shit gets a little tough, hey, we've been here before. It's all right. It's only going to last so long. That's all you got to, but not everybody's equipped to handle that. Life gets tough. They want to get on Twitter and just start talking like it's going to help, or just get mean and nasty, and that's not going to help anything either. So I don't know. Some people don't like Kelly because of some of the things he does, but He's a little tough. I think he's gonna do fantastic at LSU. I really do. He's gonna get the opportunity to bring really good athletes for him to mold that maybe he's never had the opportunity to recruit. Can he recruit them? I don't know. I don't know how different it is to recruit players at a different school. I don't know if where you're at matters. The weather's better there, at least year round. It gets brutal in the summer, but year round it's better. So that's a perk.
Should be good recruiting down there.
That's a perk. Yeah, absolutely. So I think he's got a really good chance to win a championship down there. I hate how it came together. I hate that the media blew the story out of the water. I don't know how much pressure LSU put. There's a lot of things we don't know. So it's easy to just say, oh, that's a dick move. He's a terrible person. Good riddance. He's the winningest coach in the program's history in Notre Dame. 12 years. He never won a title, but he got us to the playoffs. He got us to national championship games, and he did it without the best athletes on planet Earth. Did he have good players here and there? Yeah, but never the elite players. We haven't had any Heisman winners. We haven't. It's just he's done a lot. So I appreciate what he's done for the program. It sucks that we didn't get a championship, but he had to go and he got paid, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that they wouldn't do that and they would stay at Notre Dame, if no fucking way. If they're giving you 4 times the money every year, that's 4 times the money. That's not 4 times the money one time. No, that's okay. So in 2 years, you made what it took you to make in 8 years over there. In 3 years here, it would have took you 12 years there. So in 3 years, he's gonna make what he made in his entire Notre Dame tenure, whether he wins or not.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't even have to win. He's in the baseball free agent stage of his coaching career. He came up, he got his break at Cincinnati, did real well with them, got a real job where he made some real money at Notre Dame, and now, because he's been such a good coach and produced results and gotten wins, now he's getting to go to the big leagues and get the big money. And if he had to make that in a short notice decision, so be it. Good for him. I mean, it sucks how it went down, but I can't blame a guy for getting paid and taking care of his family. I don't know what millionaires do, and I don't know how much millionaires need, but if I could turn my salary into 4 times what it is now, it would fucking change my life. Yeah. So there's no way. There's no way you can look somebody in the eye and say you wouldn't do it.
4 times for anybody would be life changing. Your life adjusted. So even like if he was making $2.5 million and spending $2.5 million, so he's ending up with no money in the bank at the end of the year. All of a sudden, he's got to figure out how to spend $9.5 million.
I don't know if you could do it. I'm sure you could, but I know that as I progressed in my life, the more money I made, I still didn't have anything to show for it. I was just spending more money on God knows what. So just dumb shit that you don't need. It's just the money effect.
So like Cincinnati is a college football head coaching powerhouse now.
Apparently, they're the best at developing top tier college coaches. It's fantastic.
Wild, man.
Top of the line out there. The Bearcats are getting it done. Shout out to the Bearcats.
Well, they're there. They're there this year, so it's pretty interesting that
they just have to win their championship game.
Oh my God! Could you imagine if Notre Dame had actually? It looks like
Notre Dame has a 40
is signed.
46% chance to make the playoffs, which is actually better than Oklahoma State, who's sitting 5th. But Notre Dame needs basically 3 of those teams ahead of them to lose this weekend.
Right.
One has to. But if Georgia loses, forget about it. So really, Georgia can lose and be fine.
Right.
But if they beat Bama, then they should jump Bama. And then you need OK State to lose, ideally, and Michigan to lose. But we'll see. There's a chance.
And
if they name a coach, and if it is Freeman,
it looks like they named him.
then I don't see any reason the committee could hold that against Notre Dame.
It looks like they named him late tonight.
Yeah, I like that. I like that move. It saves what's already intact,
Yeah.
while it lets somebody new come into the picture and try and pick up the pieces that were left, rather than try and rebuild an entire program.
They are saying that that Tommy Rees was a big part of being able to sign Freeman, because they said that they wanted to keep Tommy Rees on. So, like, I guess he came and said, yeah, I want to stay with Notre Dame. So that
I saw right before we
okay.
got on here, I saw Rees addressing the team, and he literally said that he couldn't answer any questions, but that's what he was addressing the team, saying he wanted to be there and he wanted them to know. He said you guys might be pissed, but I'm sticking around, or something like that. You know, it's like, you're not getting rid of me, basically, is what he was saying. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty cool.
I guess LSU was courting Tommy Rees to go.
Yeah, they
with
wanted them
Kelly.
all. They wanted the whole staff. Kelly
Yeah.
wanted Freeman more than anybody. Kelly wanted to make Freeman the highest paid assistant coach in college football.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a big deal for Notre Dame to retain him.
Mm-hmm.
But let's figure out how to wrap this thing up today.
That's all I got for you, man. I don't have much for college football and college basketball.
That's good.
So
It's good. I didn't know we were gonna go there.
that's all right. We had to go there because it was big. It was big news.
It is big news, and there's not much else going on in the hobby right now. Topps Chrome Black, I believe, comes out next week. So, like, for the week being right now, there's no new baseball. There's just Mosaic Basketball on Friday. Contenders Optic came out today. It's right here. We got some breaks on the website. XR Football came out today. It's in a case that's sealed up. It's on the website, undergroundcasebreaks.com. But there's just not a lot going on in the hobby. We did get some CSG slabs back today. These are the nicest plastics, dude. This is honestly the first time I've put my hands on fresh CSG slabs. They're fantastic. The problem is with CSG slabs, or like CSG grading as a company, and consumers, is humans want 10s. Nobody wants 9s. This is the only 9.5 I got back. And this is a beautiful Dominguez. And it was a clean card. I do have a couple more 9.5s coming that just popped today, but I don't have any more, like this Hernandez. This is all from Bowman Chrome. Like, these plastics, the slab itself is so crystal clear. The cards look as good as if they weren't in a holder. They look great. So this is one without subgrades, though. Put the camera on that, and I just think there's too much empty label there.
Right.
I suggest the subgrades. They look way better. We get some focus on that, or not.
I really feel like they're gonna be the toughest grader.
They are, man. Here's the thing. Another thing that people don't know, and I am an authorized dealer for CSG. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, by the way. They don't pay me or anything like that, and I'm not telling you to grade your cards with them. If you want to, you can use me. You can hit me up. I can help you out with that. But their grading scale is different than PSA's. That's one thing a lot of people don't know. Their 9.5 is considered gem mint, and PSA's 10 is considered gem mint. So a 9.5 condition for condition, and CSG 9.5 is equal to a PSA 10. And really, a 9.5, I'm telling you, my experience that I've had, a 9.5 CSG, I'm going to seriously consider buying all the 9.5s I can of players and products that interest me, because they're incredibly tough to get, and they literally equal the same card quality as a PSA per their scale. And I don't know. I think that could be a future move, but I don't have any data to back that up. It's just something to look at, because if they're selling for less than PSA 10s by a substantial amount, I think it's worth buying because of how tough they are. They really grade with integrity. Maybe I feel that's the way I feel about them, and that's why I chose to at least work with them. I had to fill out applications and have references, and they checked my sources and all of that. I mean,
right.
they don't just let anybody work with them. They've been real helpful with me, and they grade tough, man. I've told everybody who sent cards with me to them. Right now as a bulk option, it's better than anything available. PSA and Beckett don't have bulk options open. There's some other up and coming companies that do good things. HGA, FCG. I don't have a preference. I'm not dying on my shield over one grading company, because I think the whole idea of grading cards is silly, but I understand how to maximize profits. It's a separation you have to be able to make. Same thing with why I understand that a flagship rookie card is worth more than a Stadium Club rookie, even though the Stadium Club card has a better picture, a better depiction of the player 95% of the time. I understand it. I don't agree with it. It's kind of how I feel about grading in general. I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. But if you're going to grade your cards, when you're talking to me, I'd rather go with the place where I know I got what I paid for, or I know I got something fair. I know somebody actually graded my card. I know some guy who wasn't eating a fucking cheeseburger didn't put a thumbprint on the bottom left corner of every single one of my cards in a 500 card PSA order.
You love it.
I wasn't going to say the company name too, and I fucked up and said it. Or I didn't have
who cares?
fibers in my slab, or half of my sides of my cases were all cracked. And I'm not saying they did it all the time.
Some chip crumbs.
There's definitely some red flags. We're literally, red flag memes were a thing for about a week ago, and those were the red flags. If there's fucking thumbprints on your card in the slab, you throw the red flag emojis up. If you got some chips in your shit, if your slabs come back cracked, if your labels are swapped, whatever you got. But every company makes mistakes. That's the other thing I'd like to say is all these fucking internet fanboys, man. Once they get brand loyal to a company, oh my god, another company makes a mistake, they're fucking putting them on the cross, man, and nailing them. And it's wild. It's like, hey, man, all these companies make mistakes. You know why? Because they're all humans, bub. Like, come on, man. It's unbelievable. People are just like, oh, no, it's only this way. Oh, everything serves a purpose, and everyone has a preference. And that's what makes the hobby fun. I fucking love the hobby. I hate being a businessman. I absolutely love the hobby. I wish I could enjoy the hobby, but I don't get to. I have to be a businessman who's bigger than a nobody, but not a big timer. And it's like being in between a rock and a hard place. I had more fun when I was a nobody. Way more fun. Now that I'm borderline somebody, it's the worst. It's the fucking worst. So any free time I get, I don't even want to look at cards. I have some cool stuff I've gotten too, Shout out to my dude Joe Exotic. You gotta get the cool shit. I'm not a big fan, but it's cool to I'm never gonna financially recover from this. It's funny, man. I even had a firework last summer to Joe Exotic. It had like 100 quarter sticks in it. It just went bang. It was fucking cool, America. I love it. It's fun, but the business sucks. But the hobby's fun, and that's what's great about the hobbies. There's something for everybody. What I like, you don't have to like. You could like building sets. I could like chasing a certain serial numbered card.
Right.
You could like autographs. I could like memorabilia. I could like bats and balls. You could like cards. People like football. They like helmets. I could like jerseys. You can like whatever you like. It's fucking fun, man. It's cool. We talk about all the fucking guys we like to talk about with sports. All our superheroes, man. We're all grown men and we're playing this game. I've got a Kris Bryant autograph World Series ball sitting up there. He's not even with my team anymore. I'll never get rid of that baseball. Never.
That's who's still on my stand. I still got a bunch of Kris Bryant stuff. Got rid of a lot of other stuff. Still have a lot of Kris Bryant stuff.
So, as far as that goes, I don't want to get too crazy into the hobby talk too. We can do that another time. We got a lot of lockout time coming up, and we got a lot. There's a lot of good baseball products coming out in December. Oh my
Bowman's
god,
best.
I love it. GTS is giving me over a case. I'm so pumped. I'm getting allocated more than a case from them, which is big time. Because I get my cases other places, but I don't get a whole lot from them. But I did some ordering with them this year, so who knows? But as far as baseball goes this year, like I said, next week is Topps Chrome Black, and then 12/15 Bowman Inception comes back. You remember that, Pav? It's coming back. I know I'm getting some. I don't know how much. And then the Topps Chrome on the same day, Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. That was supposed to come out right after regular Chrome and got delayed. That's a gorgeous looking product here. Damn it. I can't show the screen. I'm just not showing the I'm not doing advertising for other people on the podcast. And then Contenders comes out the 17th, which most people will probably skip. Flawless Baseball, which we've already should have had. It's Panini's essentially their highest end release is December 22nd. Same day as Dynasty Baseball, which is one of Topps' highest offerings. You forgot about some of these because they've been getting pushed back all year. The thing is, with Topps, they have to get all their 2021 products out in 2021. It's not like basketball and football where they have the split year. Like baseball's got to get it all out. So you got Dynasty on the 22nd, and then you get Bowman Draft on the 29th, and Bowman's Best on New Year's Eve. I mean, that comes flying out, dude, because they can't push this shit back no more.
Be selling all my Christmas presents.
It's going to be quick, dude. It's going to be hot, fast, and fucking right now. And it's just going to get dumped on everyone. But we'll get a lot of January to play with them, a lot of those releases, man, until Series 1 comes out. And there's some other stuff that just says December as well.
Bowman makes the offseason bearable.
Yeah. Like Big League Baseball. Big League Baseball got delayed all year, and it's still on the slate for December. Not that anybody cares, but it's just taking forever.
You know who cares? You know who cares? It's the guys that are like, this hobbies, the kids can't afford packs anymore. They can't go buy packs of cards anymore.
Goddamn flippers.
Go buy opening day and go buy Big League. Yeah, but those aren't worth any money. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought you said it was for the kids. Wow. People are crazy.
Yeah, man. People are crazy. There's no doubt about that. I swear, I feel like at least a quarter of all humans on the internet are just fucking around. Like, they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. Or they're just trying to get attention. Like, man, that's not what the internet's for. The internet's, I want to, like, as much as I want to talk shit, run my mouth, and just absolutely have fun, I mean, I want to help people out too. You know, I want to, it's the hobby, man. Just because I don't like something or just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean I can't help you do what you want to do in the hobby. Like, if you want to build sets and I have a card you need, yeah, man, I'll help you out. If I have the time to go dig it out and I know I got it, shit, you can have it. If it's just for a set. But not everybody's like that, man. There's some, unfortunately in the hobby, there's some really terrible humans that are just trying to get over on people. You know, you got the worst of the worst. And some really good people, too. There's some great people, but I mean, I'm sure it's that way in everything, but there's some fucking scum people. Some scummy people. Oh, they'll just try and get away with whatever they can get away with. Once Upon a Time in Queens Baseball. Special set. 30 for 30. Huh. What else? Anything? Anything?
I got nothing else, man.
Nope. Me either, man. All right. Thanks, Pav Daddy, for joining me, man. I'm Brad Ross. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows Pav Daddy, Cubs fan extraordinaire, owner, co-owner, master, easy tankless water heater guy. If you ever need hot water on demand, you got to get over to Easy to Tankless for all your water heating needs. Portables, in-home. Pav, you tell them. I don't know shit about water heaters. You tell them. Tell them about tell them about the water heaters. They really want to hear about that shit. All right, they're done with it.
We make water hot.
Nice. See? At best logo in the business, too. So we got Pav Daddy, dude. Thanks again, man. We covered a ton of shit.
Yeah.
I'm Brad
Yeah,
Ross.
I'll be ready for next time.
Underground Case Breaks the next time. I think the next episode, I think we're going to dig into the hobby a lot. So if you stuck with us till the end of this podcast, I know this one's longer than the last one. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm sure we got long-winded in a few sections. More importantly, we're trying to come up with a name. And what types of hobby topics would you like us to cover? So please, if you listen to this all the way to the end, get in the comments. Let us know what you'd like us to go over. It'll probably be a few days before we do another one. So we'll dig into more hobby-oriented stuff. I know last time we talked about selling and using platforms outside of social media. This time we just cut into some new releases and the different types of things you can do in the hobby, along with some graded CSG slabs. And Lee over at Piguero there. And next time we'll figure something else out. We'll take a deep dive into the hobby, along with our any types of baseball and sports updates we have for you. So thanks a bunch, everybody. I had a good time. Hopefully this is up for you guys to watch here in the next day or so. Pav, you got anything?
Hey, we're going to teach you how to make money in the hobby. No, I'm kidding.
For $9.95.
$9.95. Dial the 800 number at the bottom of the screen. No.
Or double your money back.
Hey, we don't claim to be smarter than you, but we are. So you just need to tune in and listen.
Oh, shit. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.